This person wants to surrender, yes, and the angels are showing this very clearly today, but there is still something kept in their heart that prevents this step from happening entirely. It is not lack of feeling, it is not absence of connection, and it is also not because you imagined everything wrong. What exists there is a real desire to approach, to lower the guard, to stop resisting what they feel for you. Except that at the same time there is a hidden part, a silent weight, an unresolved truth which still holds them back exactly at the instant they almost give in. And I want to tell you with a lot of affection, this message did not arrive by chance. There is a woman listening to this today and feeling that her heart even tightened because deep down she already perceived there was love, but also perceived there was a break. And it is precisely about this break that the angels want to speak with you now. What this person feels for you has already passed the phase of curiosity, has already passed the phase of light confusion, has already passed that moment when one could pretend it was just a passing interest. No, the feeling grew, gained space, created roots. Except that when love begins to ask for an attitude, not everyone manages to respond at the same speed. There are people who feel deeply, but freeze. There are people who want to open the heart, but get scared when they realize this will demand truth. And in the view of the angels, it is exactly that which is happening here. This person wants to surrender, but still keep something important. It could be a memory, a guilt, a fear from the past, a wound that has not been confessed yet, a situation that was not totally closed, or even a feeling of inadequacy that they try to hide even from themselves. The main point is, love exists, but there is still too much protection around this love. And you know what I think when a message like this appears? I think that many times, the greatest difficulty is not in loving someone, but in allowing this love to be truly seen. Because when the feeling becomes clear, it is no longer possible to play around. It is no longer possible to use distance as an excuse. It is no longer possible to hide behind silence. And this person knows it. They might not say it with every letter. They might even seem indecisive on the outside, but on the inside they have already perceived that what exists between you is not common. They have already understood that you stirred a deep place, a place that perhaps no one has touched this way in a long time. And it is precisely because of this that they oscillate, because feeling you is good, but at the same time it disarms. The angels show me that this person has tried to maintain some control over what they feel. They observe, they miss you, they think of you more than they admit. They create scenarios in the mind, imagine conversations, recall details. Except that when it comes close to demonstrating, something inside them steps back, as if there were a voice saying, "Not yet. Don't show everything yet. Don't speak everything yet. Don't surrender completely yet." And this voice does not come from love. This voice comes from fear, fear of not being understood, fear of showing oneself vulnerable, fear of opening what is hidden and losing exactly the person they would most like to keep close. Take a deep breath for an instant and feel this with me. Sometimes someone's silence is not disinterest, it is exaggerated protection of a heart that has already been beaten up. Before we continue, write this mantra in the comments. I receive clarity, truth and love in the right time. Write it with faith, because when you write, you agree with the light that heaven is releasing over this situation. Now continue with me, because there is a very important part of this message that you need to understand. The angels want you to know that this person is not fighting against you. They are fighting against what they need to reveal. And this changes a lot of things, because perhaps at some moments you felt you were being rejected, ignored, or left aside. Perhaps you looked at contradictory attitudes and thought, if they feel so much, why don't they come? If they really want it, why don't they speak? If something true exists, why do they continue hiding? And I totally understand that question. truly. Because for someone who feels with sincerity, the other's inconsistency hurts. Except that today, the angels are bringing a deeper explanation. This person does not know how to deal well with the emotional weight of what they carry. They want to approach, but they think that by revealing everything, they might destroy the image you have of them, might provoke distance, might transform hope into disappointment. There is something very important that you need to know about this person's heart. They do not feel indifferent when they think of you. On the contrary, there are moments when your name comes as a calling. Your energy comes as presence. Your memory comes as truth difficult to erase. You occupy a space that was not filled by anyone else. And this scares them. Because when someone becomes this important, the risk of losing seems greater. And when the risk of losing seems greater, some people prefer to delay the surrender, even while suffering inside, rather than throwing themselves in and having to deal with the fear of not being accepted entirely. The angels show that what is kept has not been revealed yet, because this person feels shame, insecurity, or guilt in relation to this matter. It is not necessarily something huge in the eyes of the world, but it is something big inside them. It could be a poorly closed story. It could be an error from the past. It could be an emotional limitation. It could be a fragility that they didn't want you to see. And here, I need to tell you something with much honesty. When someone keeps something important, it weighs on the bond, even when love exists, even when the desire to work out exists, because the heart does not rest totally until the truth finds space to breathe. You perhaps have already perceived that there is depth in this person's look, but also a sort of retention, as if they wanted to speak more but swallowed it down, as if they wanted to approach more but turned back a step, as if there were a constant almost. And this almost is not your imagination. It is real. The angels show me exactly that. They almost speak, almost confess, almost open up, almost surrender, except that they haven't reached the point of breaking the last barrier yet. And this last barrier will not be broken through pressure, nor through fear, nor through demand. It will be broken when this person feels that the truth can come out without being crushed. Now I want to ask you a very sincere question, and answer it there in your heart. If this person arrived today and revealed something you didn't expect, would you be ready to listen with maturity? I don't ask you this to scare you. I ask you because the angels are preparing you not only to receive love, but to receive truth. And sometimes the truth comes before the complete surrender. Sometimes the heart can only love in peace after it puts out what it kept for too long. The angels also show that there is a strong spiritual connection between you, and that is why you feel it. That is why on certain days, it seems like your heart captures what this person does not speak. That is why you think of them suddenly, without apparent reason. That is why at some moments you almost feel their presence, even without contact. When there is a bond like this, the soul perceives before the speech. Except that perceiving is not the same thing as comprehending entirely. And today, heaven is bringing comprehension, not to make you create blind expectation, but to give you discernment. Because discernment calms, organizes, and protects. Now I want to ask you for something simple but powerful. Write 8 in the comments if you feel that this message is revealing something that your heart had already been sensing. This number today comes as a sign of emotional strength, maturation, and movement of that which was stuck. And if this word is helping you for real, in the video there will be a QR code for donation. There is also a link for donation in the description and in the pinned comment. If you feel in your heart the desire to support, your contribution helps this message to continue reaching more people who need light, comfort, and direction. The angels are sending you a special sign. Your lucky number for today is 8. Write in the comments. I receive the energy of the angels. My lucky number is 8, and I receive this message with faith. Write it with confidence, because this number speaks of interior overcoming, emotional truth, and reconstruction of that which seemed stuck. There is a part of this message that moves me very much, and I want to share that with you. In my view, one of the most difficult things in love is when the other person feels, but still cannot sustain that which they feel with clarity. This confuses, tires, makes the woman doubt herself, makes her ask if she understood everything wrong. Except that the angels do not want you to use the other's confusion to measure your value. The fact that this person still keeps something does not diminish your importance. It does not diminish what you awakened. It does not diminish the truth of the bond. It means only that they are still crossing an interior battle before being able to offer you something more whole. And here enters an essential point. You were not called to carry the weight that belongs to their internal process. You can love, you can comprehend, you can pray, you can even wait with discernment, but you cannot live trying to tear from the other a revelation that they haven't managed to sustain even for themselves yet. The angels ask that you preserve your peace, because when the woman begins to want to decipher everything by herself, she wears herself out, loses her center, begins to live as a function of signs, absences, and emotional crumbs. And that is not the will of heaven for you. Heaven wants you to remain firm in your value, so that when this truth comes, it finds you strong and lucid, not broken. This person thinks about what it would be like to live something truer with you. They think yes. They imagine a cleaner proximity, a clearer bond, a more open exchange. But together with this image comes the memory of what they still need to resolve. And then they freeze again. The angels show a soul divided between desire and protection, between the will to advance and the habit of hiding, between the need to love and the fear of being seen completely. This explains so much, doesn't it? It explains the advances followed by step-backs. It explains the warmth followed by silence. It explains the interest followed by distance. Not because they don't want to, but because they want to, and still don't know how to cross their own wall. If you are listening to this right now with a tired heart, I want to tell you a very human thing. I know it is not easy. It is not easy to feel that something strong exists and at the same time not manage to touch this story with both hands. It is not easy to perceive intention and even so deal with delay. It is not easy to have sensitivity to feel what the other hides. But stay with me until the end, because the angels are not bringing this message to leave you more anxious. They are bringing it to position you better before what is happening. There is a truth being matured in there, and the angels show that this person is getting closer and closer to no longer being able to hide it. What was kept begins to tighten. What was muffled begins to ask for a way out. The heart already feels that continuing to delay has a cost too high. It could be that they still try for some more time to seem controlled. It could be that they still maintain a certain reserve. But on the inside, the movement has already begun. And when this movement begins, the soul loses its rest until it speaks what it needs to. Before we follow, if you are not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe and stay with us. Here, there always exists a word of faith, discernment, and warmth for when the heart needs to breathe. And if this message has already touched you in some way, leave your like, because that helps a lot to take this word to other women who are also living something similar. The angels show me also that you should not interpret this person's time as automatic abandonment. There is a difference between absence due to lack of feeling and delay due to internal conflict. Of course, this does not mean accepting everything nor romanticizing eternal silence. It is not that. It means only that, in this case, there is something deeper happening. And when you understand this, you stop blaming yourself for not managing to make it work alone, because it doesn't depend only on you. There is a process that needs to mature on the side over there. This person perhaps learned to hide weaknesses. Perhaps they grew up believing that feeling too much is dangerous. Perhaps they got used to looking firm, even when inside they are in pieces. Perhaps they created an image of control that now they cannot sustain near you. Because you do not awaken only affection, you awaken truth. And when someone finds a connection that asks for truth, everything that was poorly kept begins to bother them. This can delay the surrender, but it can also prepare a deeper opening afterward. The angels ask you to observe less the surface and feel more the essence. Not always do visible attitudes tell everything at the beginning. There is silence that hides cowardice, yes, but there is silence that hides internal struggle. There is distance that is disinterest, yes, but there is distance that is defense of someone who is almost giving in and still doesn't know how to fall without getting hurt. And by what the angels show today, this person is much closer to the second situation. They do not want to lose you. They just haven't managed to organize themselves inside yet to find you the way you deserve. Now I want to invite you to an exercise of liberation and peace. Write a list in the comments of people, including yourself, whom you would like to forgive. Visualize each of them, send love and say, I forgive you and I release you. May peace be with you. Feel the lightness that this brings, because sometimes to hear the other's truth without wounding oneself even more, we need first to relieve our own heart. The angels show a very beautiful scene. This person, in some moment of silence, remembering you with a tightness in the chest and a sincere will to do differently. It is not just longing, it is recognition. Recognition that you were not just any encounter. Recognition that your presence calmed, stirred, illuminated, and confronted at the same time. Recognition that with you, pretending became harder. And I am going to tell you one thing. When someone begins to recognize this for real, they can no longer return to the previous state. They might even delay a bit, might even resist, but they have already been marked. Only the angels also ask for prudence, because the revelation of what is kept might not come exactly the way you imagined. Perhaps it comes little by little. Perhaps it comes with hesitation. Perhaps it comes incomplete at the beginning. Perhaps it comes in the form of an emotional confession, a request for time, a cautious approach, or an unexpected conversation. The important thing is that you do not panic if the opening does not come perfect. Wounded people rarely open up perfectly the first time. What matters is the direction of the truth. Have you already perceived how some connections seem to ask from us not only love, but maturity? This is one of them, and the angels are strengthening you for that. Not to accept less than you deserve, but to recognize when something true is trying to be born in the midst of human imperfections. Because love does not grow only in ready scenarios. Sometimes it appears in the midst of fears, step-backs, shames, and difficult confessions. The difference lies in knowing if honesty exists in process, and the angels show that it exists. Share this video with 2 dear people who need this message today. And if you can, also leave a prayer for your guardian angel in the comments. There is much strength when several people unite in faith in the same space, and I believe very much in that. Now pay attention to this part, because it is decisive. What this person keeps does not have power greater than the light of truth. What is hidden weighs, but it does not win when it finds courage. What is poorly resolved hurts, but it can be reorganized when it finds mature love and the presence of God. The angels are not promising instant perfection. They are showing movement. They are showing internal approach. They are showing someone who can no longer pretend neutrality before what they feel for you. And do you know what appears strongest here? That this person admires something in you that perhaps they have never managed to say right. They admire your intensity, your sensitivity, your way of loving with presence, your capacity to touch deep. Except that, precisely because they admire it, they feel more fear of disappointing. Because of that, they keep it. Because of that, They think before speaking. Because of that, they hesitate before opening up. Because deep down, they do not want to reach you by half, but they still don't know how to reach you whole. If you are listening to this at night, perhaps in silence, perhaps with longing, perhaps trying to understand what to do with all of this, I want you to feel my embrace at this hour. Do not despair. Do not run after the answer with anxiety. Do not try to tear out by force what heaven is still maturing. Remain in peace. Remain in prayer. Remain in value. Because when the woman maintains herself in peace, she sees better. And you will need to see with clarity when this next step happens. The angels say that this story has not shown everything yet. There is still an emotional revelation forming. There is still a conversation being prepared. There is still a barrier about to weaken. This person's heart is no longer comfortable inside its own silence. And this, for those who know how to read situations spiritually, is an important sign. When the silence begins to bother the one who silences, the movement of truth has already begun. So today, instead of asking yourself only, why don't they surrender? Try asking yourself, am I ready to receive what was hidden? Because it could be that the next stage of this connection is not just romantic. It could be deeply revealing. It could be the moment when you finally understand that which your heart tried to read for so long. If this message spoke to you, write in the comments, what is true will find courage to reveal itself. Share your experience, like this video, and subscribe to the channel for more messages like this. Thank you for being here with me. May God bless your life, strengthen your heart, and bring clarity to everything that today still seems hidden. Until the next video.